Hi, welcome to In the Kitchen with Dominique again. And today's show, we are in the kitchen at Prima Materia Wine Tasting Room in Tuniscal. Again, with me is Pietro, the
Thank you,
amazing winemaker and owner of this amazing spot.
Thank you so much.
So today's show, we are going to just simply build a salad together on this beautiful board, showing an alternative way to building a salad and serving the salad other than using a big bowl, how to make it fun and festive for whether you are making it for an event, if you are just having people over at the house and you just want a good way to make your salad look more appealing. And also we're going to be talking about how different wines can pair with what we are doing today.
Yeah, salad pairings can be a little bit tricky. But we're going to talk about some of those fundamentals like tartness and acid and how to really get the most out of your wine pairing.
Awesome. So what we are going to do,
what should I do?
If you want, you can get those carrots cut however you want and just put it wherever you want on the board. It's just a good way also to, if you want to collaborate with another friend or a family member, get them in there, just build it together and get it done. What I'm going to do first is make my amazing vinaigrette that I talk about all the time. I think I talked about it on show 15 through maybe 20, and how versatile red wine vinaigrette can make a salad. And it'll probably pair better with wine, I'm assuming.
Wine and wine, they go well together.
Yes. So, first what I'm going to do is just mince this shallot. We also have some chicken that I seared earlier that is finishing up in the oven, and we are going to plate that on here as well. So I have some shallot. We're just going to do a very simple salad dressing for this. Okay, so we have some shallots in there. Get a little bit of olive oil. And Pietro is placing those carrots beautifully chopped. I love how they're kind of on the bias, so then you get a little bit more bite each thing.
You want a little bit it's like the pasta. You want a little bit al dente, but not so chunky that you break your tooth.
Yes, exactly. Putting a little bit of salt in here. Pinch of pepper. And I like to have a little bit of a hint of herb in my salad dressings. You can use Italian seasoning. You can use thyme. You can use marjoram. That's a good one as well. It just kind of balances it out a little bit and adds a pop of freshness in it. Just a little bit of parsley. Okay.
And with the wine pairing, the vinaigrette's going to be really the most important part.
I agree.
Because you want the tartness, the acidity to kind of match the wine, but not be so much that it overpowers it.
Exactly.
Because then you lose the wine. But you don't want the wine to be so much more tart than the dish, because then you sort of lose the bright and crispness of the dish.
That's a good point too. I never thought of that.
Yeah. And you can adjust it with a little bit of sugar, though, hides in there nicely.
All right. So this is done. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more sugar just in case, just because I added some more red wine vinegar at the end. And what I'm going to do is I have this romaine lettuce that I rough chopped a little bit, and I am going to drizzle just a tiny bit of this on top of the greens. The reason why I don't want to put too much is I don't want it to wilt too much, and I want it to hold some of the crunchiness to it. And we're just going to simply pile this like this. Okay. Okay, so now we have our lightly drizzled romaine lettuce. We have our cucumbers and carrots that we have chopped up that he beautifully chopped. They're going to add some green olives there. And I'm going to slice these carrots or tomatoes in half. Hey, whatever you want to call them. Tomato, carrot. And we're going to place that on the board. And as you can see, what happens is it becomes like a more appealing presentation for your guests to come and pick it apart. Whereas when you put your salad in a bowl, people are kind of limited to that. So it's kind of like a salad board or salad bar meets salad board, or however you want to think of it. So these tomatoes that I'm chopping, I'm going to chop some apples.
Yeah, your pile down.
There we go. And
white and rosé wines can really work well with salads too.
Okay.
If you're doing just a really simple white wine pairing, Sauvignon Blanc is often a really good one. Kind of crisp, a little bit of those green notes that work well.
Okay.
But today I think we're going to do a really crisp rosé.
Can you tell them why maybe a red wine might not work?
Yeah, red wines are tricky with salad because you've got that acidity, but then you also have some tannin, some of that dryness.
Okay.
And that doesn't always work with vinegary dressings.
Okay.
But you can kind of, if you really want to do a red wine with the salad, I would say amp up the cheese.
Okay.
Add some fat to it, add a little bit of that creaminess, and then you can start maybe moving a red wine so it pairs nicely with it.
And you feel like so cheese will maybe cut through the tannin?
Just some of that fattiness.
Okay.
Even good quality olive oil, that can make a big difference too.
Okay.
That starts making the salad a little more meaty. Those olive characteristics are almost savory sometimes, like meats are.
Okay.
Yeah, there are lots of things you can add to it to start getting it into red wine territory. And even the chicken with a nice sear, adding some of those deeper flavors.
Okay.
Mushrooms are another one.
Ooh.
So lots of options with salads.
A lot of people don't think of putting mushrooms in salad. And what about various types of leafy greens? How do you feel?
Yeah, be careful with your greens. Normal lettuce, that's just fine. Romaine, can have a little bit of bitterness. But if you're doing something like radicchio that has, or endive that has a lot of that peculiar bitterness, then a white wine is the way to go because the bitterness in endive, some of these other, even arugula sometimes, it can get metallic with the red wine.
Oh, the pepperiness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit too much, and
That makes sense.
then you're not counterpointing the white wine to make it bright and crisp.
Okay.
So, but a trick if you're doing radicchio, soak it in ice water or grill it. Grilling a lot of these greens, giving them a quick sear. Not so much that they wilt, but just like a little bit of char on a really hot grill kind of knocks down the bitterness and makes them meatier.
Okay. Perfect.
Ooh, that looks good.
So I'm going to go rinse my hands really quick, and then I'm going to show a fun, creative way of displaying extra salad dressing on the board. Okay, so I just washed my hands, and keep in mind that when you are working with various types of meat and fresh veggies, because there's such high contamination potential that could be on there, when you put the soap on your hands, 20 seconds, when you're washing it off, it takes 20 seconds for airborne bacteria to enter your body the minute they touch your hand, or the second rather that they touch your hand. So 20 seconds, good lather. Get a little bit right here on your, what are these called? Wrist, your arms. Because sometimes when you're prepping stuff, it gets a little bit past your arms. 20 seconds, rinse, and you're good. Let's go back to the salad. So we have the vinaigrette that we're going to plate up. I have a cute little orange bell pepper, or it's not little, but it's nice size. I'm going to cut this about that size and then place this like so. And we're gonna maybe place this right here, or let's put it like right here between the chicken to kind of break apart the chicken and the other ingredients. And then if you want to keep this aside to refill as needed, that's perfectly fine. But as you can see, this was so easy to put together and a perfect alternative for your fun salads at home or for your events. So I'm going to recap a little bit what we did. We have our romaine lettuce that we drizzled a little bit with the red wine vinaigrette that we made earlier. We have some apples here and some carrots, some tomatoes, some cucumbers, some amazing sharp, what do we do?
Manchego cheese.
Manchego cheese. Our grilled chicken, and tell us about the olives.
Green, I don't know what they are. Green olives.
Okay. So green olives.
From Spain.
Awesome. And a cute way, instead of using like a ramekin or whatever, use your vegetables, use the stuff that you have to make the board cute. We have our orange bell pepper that we cut, and we just poured the rest of it. That way, if your guests want a little bit more, it's totally optional for them. I'm going to plate a little bit of salad, and Pietro will tell us a little bit more about the wine.
Yeah, I think with this particular, I love salads, and I think rosés have become really popular, and we make a couple of different styles here. This one is made from Zinfandel, so it's kind of a play on white Zin, which is sort of a sweet industrial product.
Nice.
This is the opposite. Super crisp, super minerally, peppery, plenty of acidity to work with the red wine vinegar that's in the vinaigrette, a little bit of tartness from the olives. But it's not so fruity that it's going to sort of take over the dish. It's just going to kind of work and complement with everything, which is often what, when you're pairing, you want things to work together and not really fight at all.
I like that.
This is going to work.
Yeah. Perfect.
And the apples will be good with it.
Adds like a little bite of sweetness.
When you're picking a wine to go with the dish, it can be as simple as trying to match flavors that you find in the food with the wine.
Okay.
Or you can do the opposite and kind of work what the wine has against it to complement the food.
Oh, okay.
So when we talk about, like, this for me has a lot of peach and apricot notes and some pepper. I think that it automatically works with greens because of that. It's one of the first things I think of, actually. And, when we're describing flavors in wine, we're just throwing out similes. There's no actual peach or apricot in the wine.
Got it.
It just reminds us of those flavors. It's the same chemicals that naturally occur in the fruit. So don't be intimidated by talking about what you get from wine. That we all have different senses, and something can be too tart for one person and it's different for somebody else. But get used to just sort of throwing out those, I'm getting fennel, this kind of smells like olives, this smells like pepper. Because once you start doing that, you start thinking more about the wine and you think more about the food, and then the two really start coming together.
Okay.
It's a little intimidating at first, but once you get into the groove, it's easy.
It's kind of like painting a picture to me, as far as like finding the contrasting colors and seeing how you could build the picture with colors without making it look like a mess, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're along the same lines.
It's just a comfort level, practice. The more you practice it, the easier it gets.
Perfect. Yeah.
Ready to try?
Yes, so our salad is all ready and we have our rosé poured and we're excited. So I'm going to try this and kind of pair it up a little bit. The red wine vinegar is really light. So it's not too overpowering.
Yeah, but it's still fresh and bright. This gives it a little bit of lift.
You like it?
Try it. Yeah.
Awesome.
And chicken adds some smoky notes too, so you get a little hint of that.
Ooh, that's perfect.
Yeah, so you still get the fruit, but it's not taking over the dish. It's just kind of bouncing back and forth.
Perfect.
That's what you want.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to In the Kitchen with Dominique on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. And don't forget to visit Prima Materia.
Yeah, visit us in Temescal, and you can follow us on Instagram at Prima Materia Wine.
So I wanted to thank Pietro for allowing us to utilize his space and for inviting us to come and just show you how thank you how In the Kitchen with Dominique and Prima Materia wine is the perfect match, and for us to be able to talk to you guys about how to pair wine and how to make your next event, and for you to come and taste the wine.
Thank you so much for teaching me some tricks.
Yeah, of course, it was fun.
Love it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Mm-hmm.